the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Hey, Father, thanks for being in studio with me today. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Drew.
It's a delight. Story you shared went viral, and I want to share that with everybody in a minute. But first, for those who are just tuning in, too, your connection to the Holy Father, to Pope Leo, is an interesting one. How far back does it go? When did you first meet him? And
I entered the Augustinians in 1983, right after high school.
Great year.
And he was a missionary in Peru, a newly ordained priest.
Wow.
So I met him through all of the province functions, retreats, and always had great respect for all the missionaries in Peru. And he was one of them. He was a real inspiration as a young friar.
Yeah, what a surprise to the whole order, right?
Oh, my
when
goodness,
one of your
yes.
own is elevated to the
That's right.
vicar of Christ, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. You shared a story. I was going to share it, but I'd rather have you share the story. And it's surprising how this story just is. I've seen it in so many different publications already. An encounter that the Holy Father had. I remember when Pope Francis became Pope. You know, he went and paid his own bills and his own paper bills and things along those lines. So when I heard your story, it was kind of reminiscent of that. But nobody thinks about the Holy Father having still roots in the area that he lived before he moved to Rome. Share the story.
Well, I think it was about 2 months into his papacy. He was calling his bank in Chicago to change his phone number. And he called, and this shows the humility of Pope Leo, is he could have had his secretary, he could have told someone, do this for me. Right. He called himself. And he got someone on the bank, and he said, I'm Robert Prevost, and I would like to change my phone number. And so they went through all the security questions, which we all know at our banks, right? Went through it, everything, and they said, oh, well, we're sorry, sir. It says here you have to come in person. And he said, well, I really can't do that right now. He said, I'm not living in the country. And said, sorry, sir, this is what you have to do. And then he said, well, would it matter to you if I told you that I'm Pope Leo? And they hung up on him.
I love that.
I would have hung up on him.
Yeah, right. I just thought she was being pranked.
And so then someone got in touch with someone who knew someone, and it was all taken care of, and his phone number was changed. But what I just love about the story is how human Pope Leo is. He's like us, but he's called by God, and he's following God's call. And he's saying yes, and I hope we're all going to do the same. So I hope this little fun story
I love it.
will just teach us be the best we can be in our everyday life, follow Jesus, and always evangelize.
It's another aspect of, the sanctity of the man in some respects. I mean, humility is somebody once said, is the crystal bridge that leads us to heaven. And what a beautiful witness that he has. There's something you and I were talking about a little while ago. That's called the Leo effect. Yes. And talk about that a little bit, because for me, and I was sharing this with you a few minutes ago before we went on the air, it's weird for me as an American growing up, we're probably around the same age, to hear, the Pope speak English. It was Polish or it was Italian or it was whatever language it was. It's so surreal when he addresses the world, to hear it in native tongue. What impact has he had already? And he's only been in office a short time.
Well, I think the impact is that we understand him. He has the Chicago accent. He likes pizza. He likes hot dogs. Yeah. He likes the White Sox. And at one point someone did say, oh, you're a White Sox fan or a Cubs fan. He said, well, the Pope likes everyone. But the Leo effect, and as vocation director, this year we had 4 young men join us. Wow. Next August we have 13.
And that is because?
It's not that they're joining because Pope Leo is an Augustinian. Right. But because Pope Leo is an Augustinian, who are the Augustinians? They look us up. Yeah. They like what they see. They talk to us. They come visit us. And then they're joining. So
why don't we do this? For those who don't know, share about the founder. And if any man is listening right now or anyone feels this call to religious life, how do they contact you, and what do you do? What's the charism, the mission?
Great. So as Augustinians, our spiritual father is St. Augustine. There was, he lived 354 to 430. There was no such thing as religious orders, right. Although he did write the rule that we live by, which has been around 1,600 years. And so he is our spiritual father in everything that we do. Everything we do goes through, and if you listen to Pope Leo, you'll hear about St. Augustine, because we're formed in that. And we are teachers, we are parish priests, we're mendicants, which means we go where the church needs us to go. And how beautiful that Pope Leo is now being called as a mendicant Augustinian to go where God wants him to go. So if anyone wants to check out our website, it's beafriar.org.
Be a friar.
Beafriar.org.
Great website. That's a great domain.
One of the vocation directors said, we just need Leo to put that on a hat and wear it.
Or a T-shirt or something. That's great. Beafriar.org. And you never know, maybe God's talking to you today with that vocational call. I know you got to run very quickly. There's been a back and forth between the president and the Pope, and I'm really disappointed in President Trump because he really attributed to the Holy Father something that he would never say. And the Holy Father, would never say, yeah, Iran should have a nuclear weapon. What's going on there, and can you clear that up? Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
The Pope is a religious leader. He's not a politician. All he's going to do is preach the gospel. People can take what he says and twist it. Yeah. That's not his fault. And so knowing Pope Leo as Bob Prevost and knowing him for over 40 years, he's one of the most peaceful men you will ever meet. And what he's saying is what Jesus is saying. Listen to what he says. Don't listen to what someone says he says. Listen to what he says, and what you're going to do is hear the gospel.
I think he was chosen for these times.
I believe so.
You look at the Industrial Revolution with Leo XIII, and then you see where we are today. I've been talking a lot about AI. It is transformative. It affects every industry. There's no coincidence that he chose the name Leo XIV.
He did show.
Right?
He shared with the Augustinians.
Oh, really? Share that.
He shared why he chose Leo. He said he was thinking of Augustine. He would have been Augustine the first.
Wow.
But because Leo was there during the Industrial Revolution, you hit it on the head, and the church was right in the midst of it. So if you like a 40-hour work week, thank Leo XIII. If you like that 7-year-olds aren't working machineries that can kill them, thank Leo XIII. And so Pope Leo XIV said the church was in the midst. We're in a new revolution with AI. The church needs to be in the midst. That's why he took Leo XIV.
Huge challenge ahead of him. So
yes.
There's no doubt about it. We all have to pray for him. Father, thank you very much for
You're
your
welcome,
time.
Drew.
I keep you here for an hour. I know you have to run. You're super busy. Yeah. Beafriar.org, right? Beafriar.org.
Thank you very much. And to everyone listening, God bless you all.
Thanks.
That was the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the Best of the Week is on the Relevant Radio app. Free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.